All right, guys, welcome back to the shack. And a lot of you guys have told me that you kind of would like to see behind the scenes on my design process for some of the files that I make. So today, that's what we're going to be doing. Brandy has asked for a file in preparation for Christmas. And so I've got this little kind of a mock door that I'm going to be building. That's more of a Christmas ornament, door sitter, wreath centerpiece, whatever they want to use it for. But it's going to be a pretty cool multi-layered project. And we're going to take a design that Brandy found on the internet and kind of revisit it, recreate it, and add our own little flavor to it. And so if that's something you're interested in, stick around and we're going to go over to Lightburn and get started. All right, guys, like I said, most of the video today is going to be in the computer in Lightburn. So I'm going to go ahead and swap over to screen share and we'll get this thing kicked off. So here we are in Lightburn, guys, and I want to drag this down here and show you. This is what Brandy sent me, and this is what she's wanting me to design, something similar to this. So we're going to, we're going to make a really close replica of this design. And also I'm going to create a couple more variations that are similar but not the same. So I'm going to move this back up to my top screen so it's out of the way and I can see it. But guys, if you're using Lightburn and you only have one screen, one thing that I will tell you when you're doing something like this one's not that hard to keep up with. But if it's a complex design, a lot of times if you'll just bring it in, if it'll just bring it in as a picture into your workspace, you can kind of keep that in here to look at and give yourself an idea of what move you're going to make next. So for this one, I've asked Brandy, and she has said that she would like for this door to be 180 millimeters tall. So we're going to go ahead and start out with 180 millimeter height on our design. This will be the furthest part of the design. Will be 180 millimeters, and I'm just going to kind of work this together until I get it kind of the right proportions for a door. All right, so this is going to be our starting frame. And so we've got to have this first layer is going to be the door frame right here, guys. And the way I'm going to come about making that is pretty simple. I'm just going to do the easy way. I'm going to use the offset tool right here. I want it pretty noticeable, pretty dominant in the design. So I'm going to set it to a 10 millimeter offset and just hit OK. All right, so now it has created our door frame that easy. Offset tool is pretty handy. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm coming in here. I'm just going to take and copy that, and I'm going to paste it over here. All right, we're going to leave this file here, this part of the file, we're going to leave that alone because that's going to be the cut for this piece of door trim right here. All right, the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to come over here, and this interior line that's a cut on the door frame, I'm going to change that to a tool line. And reason being is that gives me a visual reference to where everything's going to be in space, because this is going to be multiple layers and I can't have any of my second layer decorations or little features being covered up by the door frame. So that blue tool line lets me know that that's where this piece is going to come out to, and we'll get rid of that or turn that off before we burn it. So the next part of the design that I want to go ahead and do are going to be these two little pieces down at the bottom. And if you'll notice, they're about a third of the width or the third of the length of this this door. And pretty much everybody knows what a door looks like. So we're just going to try to keep it proportionate and inside our boundaries here. So what I'm going to do is create a little rectangle and just kind of get a feel for it, on how big I need it to be as far as the height, the width, and everything. And I'm going to copy that, add me another one. And then I'm going to select both of them, guys, just to make sure that I've got them aligned properly. I want to kind of have the same spacing all the way around them and in the middle. Doesn't have to be exact, but I want it to be, pretty close. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to group those once I have my spacing the way I want it. And then I'm going to use this outside line here to also go and align those on the vertical center. And that looks pretty good. So the next part is the window panes. Those are going to be squares. And we're going to have 6 of them. So I'm going to create myself a little box here. I'm thinking the size of those, the size of these down here, I'm thinking 25 by 25. I think that's going to work out about the right size to make this look right. So 25 by 25 on those. And for this little object here, I'll be using the array function. And I'm going to put padding between the edges. I'm going to add 5 millimeters of spacing between each column. And I'm just going to add me some columns here and some rows to get 6 windows. Now, looks like I may have to do some resizing. Maybe we don't go 5. Maybe we go 4. 3 even. I'm afraid to go less than 3. I'm a little afraid to go less than 4. So, yeah, I think what we need to do is probably just downsize our windows a little bit. So, let's go back and change this from 25 to, let's do 22 by 22. Because if this material gets too thin, it could result in some charring and trying to burn. So I'm going to go back using those same settings that I had as far as the spacing and see how easily I can get 3 rows in there. That looks a lot better. So I think that'll look good. So we're going to go in here. I'm going to group these guys together so that I can also come in here and hold control, click on my tool line, and center them up in the vertical center. And if you look, I did pretty good on the spacing between here and here and here and here. So I think that looks pretty well. I still kind of want to bring these guys in, or either make these boxes a little wider. Not sure which. So let me ungroup them. All right, let me move this one. Let me just move this one in about 5 millimeters. No, we'll just do 3. And I'm going to group it back with this guy and recenter. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I think that looks well. All right, now, so that's basically got everything cut out the way that she's wanting it. All right. The thing is this is going to be a multi-layered design. The windows are supposed to be, like in this one, the windows you can see all the way through them, so those are completely gone from the design. These actually have a layer of material behind them, as you can see in the picture right there. So I'm going to have a total of 3 layers, not counting the little doorknob here. So before we get too carried away, I'm going to go ahead and create my doorknob. And according to this one, it needs to be right here in this little area, which I could slide these 2 guys down a little bit. They look a little high. Yeah, that works. All right, so my doorknob needs to be right in here. So I'm going to create me a little square. This is just going to be the knob, the little piece of wood behind the knob, kind of like the little grab plate or whatever. It does, however, down here in the bottom, on the one she sent me, it does have a keyhole. So we'll take and make ourselves a little keyhole. I'm going to make a 3 millimeter by 3 millimeter circle. All right. I'm going to click on that guy, click on the one around it. Well, that didn't work. Hang on, selection tool. Click on the one around it, and I'm going to center those. All right, next part of my keyhole, I'm going to need me a little square, like this guy, or a rectangle. And I'm going to move it up here, put it near the circle, select both those guys, align them, and I'm going to go over here and weld it together. All right, once I weld that together, I'm going to go over here to the node editor, go into the node, click on that node. I'm going to click my arrow button to make that node move to the right, or that one, this one to the left and that one to the right. So get those nodes moved out, and now I got a keyhole. So click back on this, one more vertical alignment, and voila. Got myself a little keyhole. It's a very large keyhole, so we could technically size that down. Let's say 2 millimeters. I'm going to lock that, hit enter, so made my keyhole a little smaller. There we go. Not quite as overwhelming of a keyhole. And also, we're going to need a knob. So I'm gonna make the knob here, and there's gonna be two different variations of this because Brandy can't decide if she thinks that the knob should be engraved or a cut. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna do one where the knob is actually a cut, and then I'm gonna make another file version of this to where the knob is an engrave. So I'm gonna leave that one selected, hold Control, click on the square here, and align them that way once again. That's about the right size. So the knob will be just a little bigger than the piece below it, but what I'm going to do now is duplicate that. All right, and I'm going to duplicate that. Those two pieces, I'm now going to click both of them, and I'm going to move them over here out of the works. Whoa, forgot my little keyhole there. I'm going to click that one, and the keyhole. We'll move them over here. All right, these two guys are going to get made into tool lines, and that's so that when we go to later on, actually those need to be faint line. That way it'll mark where my parts go for me, so that when I go to glue everything together, I don't have to guess at it. And then these two actually are going to be separate from each other. The round part is going to be one cut, and then the keyhole will be another. So I'm going to go ahead and group these guys together. All right, and we're going to move these over into the scrap off of this piece and have it cut it out of there. So there is our doorknob and our other piece for the door. Now, one thing that I wouldn't mind doing is taking this. We're going to go inward 1 millimeter and create a line. All right, I'm going to go to that one. I'm going to do the same thing once again. And then I'm going to take these two lines right here that I just created, and I'll make them a fill, just to give my doorknob a little something so it's not just a piece of wood. So all together, I think we pretty much got the layout done, guys. So the next step is going to be the second layer is going to have all these cuts. So all these pieces are going to be cut out. So this is going to be our second layer right here. So I am just going to copy that. Move this one over. And paste it over here. And we'll go ahead and group this entire thing so nothing gets moved. All right, so this is going to be the third layer. The third layer has no need for the doorknob. There's no need for this. No need for that. And we don't want these because these are actually supposed to, in this picture, these are solid. So this will be the third layer of this design. So you've got the top, which is going to be the door frame that goes around the edge here. The second layer is going to actually have the windows and then the little key panels at the bottom. That's where the doorknob and the little hand plate are going to attach. And then the third layer is simply going to be just the window holes going all the way through it. Now this is going to be a pretty thick little endeavor here, pretty thick burn, but it's going to be cool. So I'm going to group that one, make sure this one's grouped. All right, I want to try to line everything up, and if I don't group it, it's gonna make a mess. So there we go. And just kind of clean everything up, get it laid out in a decent area so as to minimize waste. And there's that. We can get rid of our photo. And there's that one, guys. And I've got a piece of material already on the machine. I've got some 4.5 millimeter Luan up there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out right quick. All right, guys, got that one completed, got it burned, and I did a really quick, somewhat messy job of putting all the parts together. Don't look at my glue. I had a little, me and the glue had a little bit of a run in, but you get the idea. There it is. It is 3 layers, so it's kind of thick. I'd use 1/4 inch material. I would probably be better suited to run this with some 1/8 inch, and I've got some 1/8 inch basswood over there, so that's probably what I'll do next. But the Luan, I've got plenty of it, so I wanted to test it with that. And it's, like I said, it's not too heavy, but it is a little thick. So, but there you go. That's what the design looks like so far. So that is the multi-layered version of this file. But I also wanted to do one that was more of a just an engrave, something simple that I could do as well as, you know, having the multi-layered. So get back in the Lightburn, and we're going to build now the engraved version of this thing. So let's get to it. All right, so no need of reinventing the wheel on this thing, guys. I'm going to save this file here. I'm going to go ahead and select that and copy this part right here. And I'm going to start me a new file, and I'm going to go ahead and hit File. I'm going to save it as, and I'm going to put this one as door engraved, and just hit save. And so this one's going to be a little different. For this one, instead of having as many layers, I think what I'm going to do is, like these guys right here in the bottom, I'm going to have to ungroup this. I want to change these to an engrave. But what I want to do, guys, instead of a regular engrave, I want to change these to a not completely filled. Let's see if we can change this to a 120. No air assist, 1 passes. Kerf offset, no. It's on line. There we go. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change this to a 1.5 millimeter line interval, which means it's not going to be exactly a fill. It's going to be just a whole bunch of lines 1.5 millimeters apart. And I'm also going to go up here to the scan angle and change it to 45 degrees. All right. And I'm going to put filter groups together. Okay on that. So that's going to make those guys do that. All right. Now for the door frame here, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to turn this back over to a fill. Change that one to a fill. All right. That is going to, well, I should have probably, let me offset this. I'm going to go offset outward 1 millimeter and hit OK. I'm going to make that my cut since I just changed my cut into an engrave. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move this up here, leave the line there, move the cut down. The fill is going to be about 160 millimeters a second. That works for me. This part here, where the knob is, I'm going to come in here. Well, it's not letting me select my knob. Hang on, guys. No. Get down to my knob. All right, so I'm going to change this to a fill also. And I'm going to set this guy up to run 200 millimeters a minute, 200 millimeters a second, 100% output. 127 will work. Okay on that. So I want that to engrave slightly, and then this guy right here, I'm going to set him to run at that black power setting, which is going to be a lot darker. And what I want to do here, oof, I'm going to select that. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to leave it selected. Then I'm going to select, I'm going to select this one. Then I'm going to select one of those 2 black ones. And I'm going to use the little boolean here to subtract that shape from the other one. And it just changed both my shapes to the same color. That's unfortunate. I don't remember which one I used. So let's see if that worked. Yes, that worked. So now I just need to reassign this because I don't want it the same layer color as that one. So I've got to, oh my goodness, it is killing me with these layers not letting me select my stuff, guys. All right, so I want that one. I'm going to change that to, let's say, a gray feel. I want this one kind of dark. So I'm going to run this one up to, well, we'll just do 100 to work at 100% output. And 127 is all I need there. All right. So now, instead of doing all this stuff as cuts, I'm going to set this thing up to where it's going to be a lot of lines. So I'm going to take those two, offset those about 2 millimeters, and put me a little faint line around them, just to add a little depth. Just to add a little depth to those guys. I think that'll look cool. So that one's going to be a lot more of just an engrave. So I'm going to get over here and run this, and we'll see what it looks like. All right, guys, so that turned out okay, but not crazy about the colors and the way everything laid out. So I'm gonna try to redo this, make it look a little better. All right, guys, better result for a single, just a single file if you didn't want to do it layered. I think that works out better, but I'm still not digging the color of my knob. This machine is really hot. I ran that knob at 160 millimeters a second and ran the feel around it at 200. So I'm going to crank the speed up to 400 on that one layer, and hopefully that'll give me a little bit of color differentiation between the two, or at least I hope it will. So I'm gonna run it one more time. All right, guys. Still not crazy about the way this one looks, but I got it looking better. It does look like a door, and it is a single layer file. But me personally, I think I'm liking the multi-layered a little better, guys. Let me grab that thing. What did I do with it? Okay, I set it up here. So I think I like this better. Now, it's not bad, but I think out of the two, I think I like the three-dimensional better. So let me know what you think down below. Like I said, this one will be a little easier to make, a little quicker, and lightweight if you're using a thicker material. But I think I would prefer to make this one, but make it out of 1/8" material so that it's technically only 3/8 inch thick instead of 3/4 inch thick, which is not quite 3/4, but it's close. So there you go, guys. I'm going to give these to Brandy and let her decorate them and do her magic. These other failed attempts, going in the trash. I don't like the way they look. So this one, I can live with this. All right, it looks okay. And I really do. I really am digging the three-dimensional. I like that idea. So let me know what you think down below, guys, and I hope this was helpful. As always, guys, there's 100 ways to do this, okay? This is the way I do it. This is what works for me. It may not work for you, but this is a way that you can design files using these different tools. There's a lot of tools there to use, and you can do it this way and design a file that works. Now, like I said, not the master here. It's not the end-all, be-all way of doing it. So if you know a better way, that's cool. And just keep learning, guys. Just keep pressing the fight and learning the software, because Lightburn has so many tools that it takes forever to kind of figure those out and work those into your workflow. But until next time, guys, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down below. Please go check out my Facebook page. I'm trying to grow that thing, and it is growing at a snail's pace. So please go check out my Facebook page and just hit the follow button on that. That'll help me out. I would greatly appreciate that. I'm trying to get to that 5,000 follower threshold, and it is taking forever. But I'm going to try to do a little more content. Went to Lowe's, did some shopping for materials that you guys can use. Going to be putting a video together on that, and as soon as I'm able, I'm just having to work when I can for short periods to stave off the pain from the back problem I got going on. But till next time, guys, be safe and have a good day.